There's an Igbo problem in Nigeria. That's why they are holding NNAMDI KANU.
What's your take on
for asking
NNAMDI Kanu's perpetual detention?
And then we are rehabilitating Boko Haram commanders. He said 120,000 of them have surrendered with foreign currency in their hand.
You've heard right? No be me talk more that there is an Igbo problem in Nigeria. Real Igbo problem, and that's why they are still holding Mazi NNAMDI KANU and letting Boko Haram commanders, killers of millions of people, that those they have destroyed their properties and life are still in IDP camp, but they are forgiving them. But they held this man hostage, according to Shore, because he's demanding for Biafra, he's demanding for freedom. Just like what Lai Mohammed said, that he preferred Boko Haram killers to freedom fighters, because Boko Haram believe in Nigeria, even though they are killing millions of people, but no problem. They love them. They love them over freedom fighters. As long as they believe in Nigeria, no problem. Let them continue killing. But as for freedom fighters, no way. As long as they don't believe in Nigeria, they are terrorists and they will be hunted down. No be me talk more. It's Lai Mohammed that said it. Let's continue watching. Okay? Listen and finish up the clip. Thank you as you do that. Now, listen to Lai Mohammed as we continue. Okay?
Question to you, Honorable Minister, is what is happening in terms of the armed bandits and the activities in the northwest part of that has completely distorted the socio-economic life of most people and threatened the national security of Nigeria? Does it not qualify for these persons to also be declared as terrorist organization or be proscribed? Because you may say we don't know them by name, but the state governors in this region are engaging these people on a daily basis, granting them amnesty, taking pictures with them.
You see, this, what I'm going to say will not be popular, but it's the truth. When a group is championing a cause for the disintegration of Nigeria, a group like IPOB does not even recognize Nigeria as a state, sets up its own army, and says it is a sovereign state. It's different from bandits and criminals. Please, don't compare apples with oranges.
But are they not threatening the sovereignty of Nigeria by taking arms against citizens of Nigerian state?
Security challenges is one thing. Challenging the very sovereignty of Nigeria is a completely different thing. Please, don't let's, don't let us dwell on what I call semantics. Yes, it's not like saying armed robbers. Armed robbers, don't they threaten security of life and property? They do. But is that why is there anywhere in the world that armed robbers have been prescribed?
No, let's calm down. These are you classifying these persons as ordinary armed robbers?
Oh, they might be super armed robbers, but what do? They take what does not belong to them. They kill people in the process. I'm just using a very big example. Listen, let's get my argument clear. IPOB was not prescribed just because of the violence. IPOB was prescribed because IPOB as a group refuses to recognize the sovereignty of Nigeria as a country.
Which one is the biggest threat, sir? A threat of somebody who challenges the sovereignty of the country, or the threat of somebody who carries sophisticated weapons, challenging security operatives in a country?
You see, it's very simple. When a person carries, sophisticated weapon, it's just a criminal, and there are ways security forces will deal with him. Like I kept telling you, we've had many hundreds of terrorists who have been neutralized. But when a group says we are not Nigerians, we set up our own government, we set up our own foreign relations, then that group is threatening the very existence, the sovereignty of the country. And I say there are two different issues, and please don't confuse them. We have security challenges, but to compare, even IPOB will be very upset that you are comparing them with terrorists and with the bandits and herdsmen.
Let's calm down.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me in this video. Today is the 13th day of June, being Friday, 2025. The trial of Mazi NNAMDI KANU continued with significant developments. A broadcast from April 28, 2021 was played in court featuring a statement from Uzoma Benjamin, also known as Onyame. According to his statement, Uzoma Benjamin alleged that Mazi NNAMDI KANU directed him to kill 2,000 people, but he only managed to kill 30 persons. Well, this statement is going to be cross-examined by the NNAMDI KANU's legal team in subsequent days. There are so many things that transpired in court today. When you look at what is on the news today, you will see that there are some stories like breaking terrorism charges. Judges move NNAMDI KANU's trial to DSS headquarters. So that is the news all over the place, and a lot of news media like Daily Post did not even give the accurate update about it. So what transpired? Today being Friday, the Department of State Service told the Federal High Court in Abuja that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, NNAMDI KANU, used his radio broadcast to incite violence and cause economic paralysis in the southeast regions. The fourth prosecution witness, a DSS operative codenamed Mr. DDD, testified that KANU's broadcast fueled the enforcement of IPOB's sit-at-home order and led to economic paralysis in the region. The witness also stated that KANU smuggled a radio transmitter into Nigeria, which was used to incite violence and spread secessionist messages. A video recording shows KANU inspecting the smuggled transmitter was admitted into evidence, and the prosecution tendered additional evidence, including a flash drive containing video clips and radio broadcasts attributed to NNAMDI KANU. The court granted the prosecution's request to inspect the container housing the transmitter and other related items and adjourned further proceedings. The defense team objected to the admissibility of some of the evidence, but the court ruled in favor of the prosecution. Now, the issue of the noise and Kunla about the trial judge James Omotosho shifting the trial of NNAMDI KANU to DSS custody is not that accurate. So it is not just what you are seeing on the news. The judge did not shift or transfer the ongoing case to the Department of State Service facility. But what he did was, because of the matter they are treating in the court today about the allegation of federal government against NNAMDI KANU that he smuggled transmission equipment into Nigeria. However, that is not a serious issue like that. That someone brought transmitting equipment like microphone, radio equipment into Nigeria, and they said he brought it illegally. Well, that is not a serious issue. Do you remember that during the time of Age 4 years, the former counsel to NNAMDI KANU, even it was Michael Zekume, senior advocate of Nigeria, that led the team that made the federal government to quash all those charges. The federal government, first of all, lied against NNAMDI KANU at the first time and said that he smuggled guns into Nigeria. Go and read the first 14-count charges against NNAMDI KANU. What they put there is that he smuggled guns into Nigeria, but at the end they discovered that these people are just lying. It was radio equipment he smuggled. By the way, for you to confirm what I'm saying, the first day when this case started with Justice James Omotosho, DSS admitted that they did not find anything incriminating or terrorizing against NNAMDI KANU. You know what that means, right? So those radio equipment, all those things, not that these things are related to terrorism. Okay, if you really want to find someone because you say, oh, he brought radio equipment into the country, maybe he did not pass through custom, he's supposed to pay custom levy, is a different case entirely. Don't forget that Uzoma, as I said earlier, DSS played his video or voice note recording that he alleged that NNAMDI KANU asked him to kill 2,000 persons, but he managed to kill only 30 persons. So, as usual, this is another allegation that the people that will cross-examine the witness will do on subsequent days. Like, if you are in the position as a lawyer, to look into all these things, you would see that it is very easy for me now to carry microphone, carry camera. I said Tinubu asked me to come here and destroy these houses. The truth is, was it Tinubu that asked me? what is the relationship between me and Tinubu. Unless you brought me, or unless you bring me, sorry, to the courtroom and, you know, ask me to testify what you hear, whether it's true or not. You've got to confirm, is the person you are mentioning really, you know, say something like that? Did he say it on a video? Then will you be able to provide the person? So there are a lot of things associated to this issue. And you know, videos can be manipulated today. A lot of things can happen today. So that is that. The case has been adjourned to, you know, the following sitting, and let us see what is going to transpire. So disregard the news that said that the NNAMDI KANU case has been permanently transferred to the SS facility. So a lot of people are seeing that as, oh, Kanu will not get justice. How would they do that? No. This is what transpired. They are going to inspect the radio equipment, all those things, the container in the DSS, you know, facility. And another, you know, group are saying the court supposed to send delegates to go and, you know, inspect it before the court date, so that they will come and give feedback. So the trial judge knows what he wants to do. You can't dictate for him on how, you know, to go about his own case. He's the one handling the case. But the most important thing is that the case is, you know, moving speedily. So let's see what is going to happen. Let me know what you think about this.
There's an Igbo problem in Nigeria. That's why they are holding NNAMDI KANU.
What's your take on
for asking
NNAMDI Kanu's
for
perpetual
Biafra.
detention?
And then we are rehabilitating Boko Haram commanders. You said 120,000 of them have surrendered with foreign currency in their hand. And you have rehabilitated them. But one guy who says, oh, we want justice, we don't want to stay in Nigeria, you are holding him perpetually, using the judiciary or judicial, what do they call, subterfuge to keep the trial. And everybody who knows what they are doing understand that it's not a judicial matter.
So NNAMDI is essentially a political prisoner.
He's a political hostage. Well, I'll call him not a political because he may not, whomever is in power, except me, will keep him in jail.
So do you think that Igbos generally are endangered species in Nigeria? Going back what you just narrated.
The truth, that's the truth. Nigeria did not forgive Igbos since the end of the Civil War.
What did they do?
Because they challenged the real estate of the British called Nigeria. So, and they didn't forgive them since then. So everything has been done after that. We know this is the unspoken truth about the country called Nigeria, that they did not forgive Igbos for the Civil War.
The Igbos were the victims and they have forgiven the victims. So why is it difficult for the victors to...
You are preaching to the choir.
And because he had mentioned once that, you know, in an interview, he had mentioned that the Igbos will never be president of Nigeria. That is a perpetual, you know, narration to keep the Igbos the way they are.
Yeah, so no, it's not about even the presidency. If they find an Igbo man that is malleable, that can work in their interests, they can make him president if he doesn't have any power. You can be a president of, you can be a president of Nigeria and not have the powers of the president. When they wanted to destroy the landmark, who was the minister in charge? It's not an Igbo man.
And Moka is Igbo speaking, also fighting.
It's easier for them to use an Igbo man to carry out. If it was done by a Yoruba man, the uproar would have been worse. But you find an Igbo minister of works to help you demolish Igbo businessman. You say, can't you see them? So it's easier that way. It's manipulation. It's how Nigeria manipulate people. But I'm not saying that if he was a Yoruba minister, he cannot demolish. They will do it too. It's easy. Anybody could have done it as long as there's an agreement to do it. Because beyond just ethnicity, there's also an elite conspiracy against Nigerian people. So an average poor person is endangered. But you are likely more endangered if you have committed a generational crime against the Nigerian real estate. Owned
by being an Igbo man.
Of course, that's the truth. You know, that's why you were saying, oh, you are Yoruba man. You know, if based on what I say, they even tell me I'm not Yoruba enough. You know, but I'm of mixed heritage. There's a part of me that is Ijo.
Okay.
And we are the Ijo speaking Yorubas. We are the Yoruba speaking Ijos in Ondo State.
Okay.
So they call us Ijo Apoy.
Ilaje area.
No, it's Ilaje. So we're next to Ilaje.
Okay.
But my great grandparents came from Yoruba side of things. But the stream that Shore is named after is in Ijebu waterside. Because that's how they came. So, but you know, I don't speak to people based on ethnicity. I don't define myself based on my ethnic heritage, even though I do not deny it. But because it underlies our humanity to be assigned an ethnic position before you can be respected. Are you getting my point? Or before your views can carry on, so you have to be a Yoruba man, and then it was all.
So we've had
Here comes
Rwanda.
one of them.
We've had Rwanda manage the same ethnic issue in their country with the Tutsi thing after years of genocide.
Are you sure they managed it?
Well, to a reasonable
they have to
extent.
manage it through genocide. And Nigeria
after
also,
genocide management.
So this is what you should understand.
Okay.
Nigeria also managed the Igbo problem through genocide. 4 million Igbos.
I was coming to that.
Is that not genocide? But
well,
you know the problem I have sometimes even with some of our people is that the same people who shot and killed them are more popular in their midst than those who support their rights. The Obasanjos of this world are embraced as authentic people, but these are the people who went and used third commando to massacre Igbos. What did they name this airport after? Murtala Mohammed, one of the most notorious killers of Igbos. Buhari, they kill Igbos. Danjuma, they kill Igbos. Gowon, they kill Igbos. But they even love them more than they love those of us who are fighting. People challenge me that, you know, they hate me because I support NNAMDI KANU. And I said, so be it. Because I know that I'm supporting justice. And I cannot support injustice because I want political favors from a country. If you want to keep carrying out genocide of political nature or continuation of it, you can go ahead. Keep voting for the criminals who are perpetrating it. Let the let the forest be voting for the acts because the handle is from one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I said something. I would like you to touch more on it. I mean, the Igbos were the victims. Now they are forgiving the victors. There is no place you don't find the footprints of Igbos across the length and breadth of this country.
That's why I say you are preaching to the choir. It's not, Igbos are not only in Nigeria, they're all over. I went to Alabama in the US, and the only pharmacist there is an Igbo man. Selma, Alabama. You've heard about Selma?
Yeah.
It's one of the homes of the civil rights movement, where they cross that Petra Bridge.
Exactly.
Igbo man is there. Most likely that's what you find in every community in the US. Igbos are distributed all over the world. There's this urban legend that if Igbos cannot live in a place, the place is not livable. There was a time a New York Times reporter came to Gamboru Ngala after Boko Haram sacked the place. The only person they found there who was not a Boko Haram member was an Igbo pharmacist. So what are you doing here? He said, well, somebody has to treat them. You know, he was that courageous not to stay there. So I'm saying all these things so that you can understand that I understand probably more consciously better than most people do. And that informs the reason I can speak categorically about the victimization of Igbo. Otherwise, it is a taboo. Politically, it is incorrect to say that Igbos are victimized by an average Nigerian.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So let's move
because
straight.
nobody wants to hear the truth. You know, and when you say, if somebody is watching me and I get out of this, sure, what's your problem now? Leave these Igbo people alone. You understand? That is the truth. But I cannot, my conscience cannot allow me to accommodate the genocide of 3 million people, 4 million people, and then the continuation of that denunciation of their existence through persecution in which the Nigerian state is carrying out, either through Landmark or NNAMDI KANU or, you know, look, I told a story, I think it was on a Honest Punch, that in this country, there was a time they were beheading Igbos, putting their heads in calabash and putting on the trains going east.
Do you think that's what's happening in the East right now? Speaking about militarization of the East.
Program, you understand? And that's why they're doing it. It's what they're doing. When we did August, what did we ask for? Demilitarization of the East and release of NNAMDI KANU was one of our demands. But it was the most denounced demands, even by human rights people. They told us, no, don't include KANU in your demands. Otherwise, we will not join you. Because Nigeria has been made to believe that a crime committed against Igbo doesn't fall under human rights abuse.
So let's speak about that crime against Igbo, because a popular, I think I read in your paper recently.
And unfortunately also, the Ohanese people said they should not join the protests, that they are negotiating with Tinubu. They even said that he will release him for Christmas gift, as if he's a Christmas goat.
Oh, all right, so speaking about this militarization of the Southeast, recently I read in your platform, a popular media mogul, one of the media platform in Lagos State, was dehumanized in the Southeast. He was traveling through Anambra State to Asaba Airport, and he was accosted. He and about 3 DSS officials were accosted by military personnel who, you know, dehumanized them, told them to lie on the floor. In fact, told them they were going to shoot at them, told them that they were IPOB. Do you think there has been accusations that most of the people killed in the Southeast in the guise of IPOB are really not IPOB, but they were killed by military? Do you think that this is exactly what's happening?
Are burning down villages, Nigerian army. They are burning down villages. Like, if you are 17 years old in the East, you carry any kind of hairstyle and you run into a military checkpoint, you are automatically targeted. It's profiling.
Oh, wow.
You understand? But go to Katsina. Listen to this before we end this broadcast. The governor in Katsina said a whole local government with tons of bandits have only 5 policemen in their area. They have only 1 vehicle, no military. But there are bandits all over the place. Why is it that banditry and terrorism in the north is treated with kid gloves, and people who are asking for what is recognized by the United Nations as self-governance, the request for self-governance, is treated as a crime against the state? But terrorism is not treated the same way in the East. I traveled in the northern part of Nigeria during the election in 2019 and also in 2023. You can drive all the way from some of the most, bandits havens.
Dangerous points.
Dangerous points. And there will be no policeman or army on the way.
Okay.
But you cannot travel in the East today. Is 1 kilometer, 1 military battalion.
Unfortunately, that is what it is. Before we leave, can I ask you a personal question?
Go ahead.
You have we have spoken a lot here, and you are more like a repetition of speaking truth to power. Oshowore, do you fear for your life?
It's too late. My life had been taken several times, to the point that all I'm dedicated to is living my life one day at a time. And the reason is this. When I was leaving the university, I did not know, I left the university at the age of 24, 25. I did not know that I would make it up to 30. So I used to say at that time that I was living on borrowed times. I'm 54 now. If I die today and an autopsy is performed on me, they will find the heart of a 90-year-old man inside my body, because it's been a lot. My heart has carried a lot of pain and anguish, but I've carried on, and as a result, I cannot be afraid of my shadows when people who didn't even do half of what I've done have died of preventable diseases, some malaria. So people like me are lucky. And if you look at the life expectancy of a Nigerian man, I think it's now
50 something, 56,
54.
56.
So I've lived a few months above that. I'm going to be 55 in February. I've tried.
You're not going anywhere yet. Well, before you go, before you start going where you want to go to, let's look at 2027. There's been lots of, chess playing here and there against 2027. And then coalition of, some people are already saying that there is no way anybody can beat Ebola Ahmed Tinubu in any election irrespective of his performance,
No, you can
if they
beat-
don't come
you can
together,
beat- you can
what
beat-
do you think is the way
No,
forward
you
for
can
Nigeria?
beat Tinubu in an election, but you cannot beat him in his election. And that's what they are planning. They are not going to have another election.
Are you serious?
Yes. They're not
How do you
planning.
mean?
Well, let's start from here. Who conducts the election? INEC.
INEC.
Right? Go and find out how many federal electoral commissioners were appointed by Tinubu who are APC card-carrying members to replace the ones that are retired. Almost infinite. Did you know that Bola Tinubu appointed 11 Supreme Court justices
Oh, yes.
since he came to power? These two bodies,
So there is no hope in Nigeria will continue like this?
well, if you don't want to continue like this, make it very clear that we can't continue like this. And that has to happen now. But if you don't, you are going to continue worse than this in the next few months and years to come. Because they have already decided the next selection.
That's a tough call.
Yeah, but they may not. The only thing that I'm hopeful about is that they may not be as lucky as they did last time. Because I think people are tired too.
Do you think they really are tired?
Well, they're tired, but the question is, do they have the energy to push back? That's the question. But in terms of tiredness, you can see it's written all over the horizon. Nigerians are
Why do you
tired.
think they lack the energy to push back if they're really tired?
You see, Nigerians have, and I'm going to say something that will be controversial. Nigerians have a gene in their DNA called the happiness gene. It's called the happiness gene. And they are happy regardless of what they go through, what I call foolish happiness.
We're naturally, but there's nothing wrong with being happy.
Yes, but how can you be happy when you should be sad? If you don't allow those emotions to run, side by side, then you cannot be upset enough to change your objective conditions. That's where we are. And it's a bad place to be. There are times to be happy, times to be sad, times to be angry. That's what humans are supposed to react to, depending on the circumstances they are faced with. So I think we've done enough.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okoro, you have a message I want to quickly, I don't know
I
if we
think
can.
I'm trying to
we
fish
can
it out,
take that
but,
out. But if we can, that'll be it. Thank you so much.